Hi everyone, yasas que kalos irtate to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're going to be making Vasilopita made with almonds. So this is so good. Vasilopita, I make it every year on the channel. I usually bring you a different version of a Vasilopita that I love. This is so good. I put almonds in it, and if I didn't mention already, which I don't think I did, Vasilopita is St. Basil's cake, and it's usually served on New Year's Eve, and there's a coin in there that's wrapped in foil, of course. And whoever gets the coin in their slice, they're considered to be lucky for the whole rest of next year. Who doesn't need a little bit of luck in their life? It's so good. This is probably one of my favorite versions of it. The almond adds a little bit of heartiness. I also put some cardamom in it and orange. It's delicious and soft and just, you're gonna love it. Let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna start off with 3 sticks of unsalted butter that's really soft and at room temperature. If you forgot to take it out, then you can pop it in the microwave for about 10 seconds. Don't melt it. They should just be very squishy and soft. And I like to save the wrapper so I could grease the cake pan, which I'll do in a little bit. So to the butter, we're gonna add 2 cups of confectioner sugar, and you could even add a little bit more than this. I would say you could even take this up to 3 cups if you want the cake a little bit sweeter. It's not that sweet. If you like it more sweet, go in and add another cup of sugar or half a cup of sugar, whatever you like. 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. I never measure vanilla, but you could if you want to. And 1 teaspoon of pure almond extract. Be very careful with that because it's a strong flavor. You want to make sure that you use pure extracts because they have the best flavor. Then go ahead and attach the whisk attachment and beat this first on low speed so it comes together, and then increase the speed to high and let it beat for about 3-4 minutes or until it's nice and fluffy. So over here I have 1 cup of almond meal or almond flour, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now I'm gonna add ground cardamom. You don't have to add cardamom, you could do ground up mastiha. The recipe calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom, but I like the flavor, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a half teaspoon. If you like it extra cardamom-y, go ahead and add a whole teaspoon. It's a very strong flavor, but it goes well with the almond. So then I have the zest of an orange for some freshness. You can do the zest of a lemon if you prefer, or leave it out. Just gonna go ahead and whisk that all up. Set that aside, and while we're here, I'm also gonna grease my baking pan. I have these wrappers from the butter. I'm just gonna use those. You can spray this with some baking spray if you prefer. It's up to you. I like to go underneath the parchment paper too. And I have 5 whole eggs at room temperature. I'm gonna add them in 1 at a time while it's beating on high speed. And don't worry if the mixture begins to curdle. It's gonna come together once the flour goes in. Half a cup of Greek yogurt. You can use plain yogurt, or even if you have vanilla yogurt, that will work too. Mix that all together. And then reduce the speed to low and add the flour in a little bit at a time until it's incorporated. But before you do that, actually, always go in with a spatula and scrape down the sides of the bowl and the bottom. Just be careful not to overmix. Leave about a 1/4 cup of flour in the end, so that way we could add some sliced almonds to it and it can just be dispersed throughout the dough evenly. It won't sink to the bottom, even though this is a pretty thick cake batter. Give the batter 1 more mix with a spatula so everything is even, and then transfer it all to your prepared pan. This is a 10-inch pan that's lined with parchment paper. And then over here I have what's known as the fluri in Greek. It's basically the good luck coin. It's just a little dime that's wrapped in foil. You can use any coin that you want. Go ahead and put it somewhere inside of the cake where nobody knows where it's going to be. And now it's time for the oven. So once the batter is in your prepared pan, go ahead and put it in a preheated oven. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This is gonna bake on the center rack for 45 to 55 minutes. It all depends on your oven. As soon as the toothpick that's inserted into the center comes out clean, it's ready. Then you're just gonna have to wait until it cools down. I like to run a knife around the edges of the pan to help release it, and then I just put it by the window or something so it can cool down faster. Then go ahead and invert it once it's cooled onto a plate or a cutting board. Take off the parchment paper that's stuck to the bottom and then transfer it to your serving platter. I like to put it on a nice crystal cake pedestal platter because it looks so pretty, and then it's time to serve it. I like to just dust some powdered sugar on top. If you have the numbers for the new year, it's going to be 2023. Can't believe it. You can put the stencil on top and then dust the cake with powdered sugar so it can leave a beautiful decoration, or you could even put a doily on top. You could decorate this with some, whatever your favorite decoration is. Let me know how you decorate it in the comment section down below, and then it's ready to serve. I like to serve this with some coffee. It's so good. Let's dig into it. So delicious. You can barely taste the cardamom in it, so if you want to, you can definitely put more. I think I put 3/4 of a teaspoon. You can go all the way up to a teaspoon. It just depends on how fresh it is. And mastiha, mastic gum, is definitely more traditional. So you can just grind up in a mortar and pestle or in a food processor some mastiha and put like a 1/4 teaspoon in there. You can go up to a 1/2 teaspoon. I don't recommend it because mastiha can be bitter if you put too much. But this cake is so moist. It's tender. It's light. It's so delicious. The almonds in there add a little bit of crunch to them because not only is there that almond flour in it, but there's also sliced almonds that lend a little bit of crunch. It's so delicious. You know what? I think I'm going to look and see where the fluri is, where the lucky coin is, because I didn't get it in my slice. There it is. And of course, you slice this as you're serving it. No cheating. So I hope you guys give this recipe a try. The exact measurements are on the website, www.dimitrasdishes.com. I wish you and your family and your loved ones a very happy new year, happy and healthy and blessed. Thank you so much for spending time with me today and being a part of this channel. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.